We move along now, and another threat for corn producers is emerging at the moment. Tar spot has been confirmed in nearly a dozen Nebraska counties and counting. However, if tar spot is creeping into your fields, it may be best to let nature run its course at least for the time being. Argo Journal's Mike Straub got some important advice on how to approach this threatening pathogen.
Tar spot was confirmed in V6 through V9 corn in several Nebraska counties and other states throughout the week of June 15, 2025. Early season development has been common in other states where the fungus has existed for a few years. Scouting efforts should be intensified in fields with a history of the disease and pivot irrigated corn.
So tar spot has begun to develop and has now been confirmed in over a dozen counties in Nebraska and in several other states too. It's drawing a lot of attention for that because this is the earliest that we've seen tar spot in Nebraska. But I want to caution everyone who's alarmed about it that this has been normal in other states where they've had the disease for several years, and now so have we in some of those eastern counties. And so I think early development of tar spots probably going to be more normal for us moving forward. There's a few other things I want to make sure that everyone is aware of, though. I know our first reaction is to do something. We want to react, we want to spray, but I want to caution everybody, and we recommend actually to not spray at this time. Most of the corn where tar spot has been confirmed is about the 6 to 9 leaf stage, and this is pretty early versus some of the data, the fungicide results that we're seeing out of the multi-state research led by Purdue University. And we've been talking about that across the state a lot. And so if you'll remember, the best timings for fungicide application for both disease control and for return on investment is actually between about tassel emergence, or what we would call VT, and the milk stage, or R3. And that was even when tar spot developed very early there, like V6 or 7, like in some of those years in Indiana. And so that's still, I think, going to be our safest recommendation. This early development is a good cue, though, that we need to start looking for it where you've had disease before and to regularly scout for it, because now you can watch and monitor how it's increasing in your fields and the hybrids that you have planted. There's a few things to keep in mind about tar spot. And, this is a fungus. It reacts very strongly to temperature, and especially temperatures that are in the 60s and 70s. And even if those occur at nighttime, and we're having wild temperature swings right now. And, we've hit 100, we've been down in the 60s, maybe even cooler. And those hot days are not going to kill this fungus, but it might slow it down. But just know, when we return back to cooler temperatures, or when we cool fields off with pivot irrigation, we know that disease can pick right back up again. And so it's important that we keep monitoring this. And so as you look at making applications later on, if you need to do that, we know that fungicides that have a combination of active ingredients from multiple classes, from 2 or 3 fungicide classes, 3, 7, and 11, they do the best job in controlling tar spot. And whether or not you're using name brand products or even mixtures of generics, we would expect similar results from that. And there might be ways to reduce input cost if you need a fungicide later. As further incentive to not spray now, I want to warn everybody that a lot of the fungicides that do work against tar spot, they're restricted to being used only twice in a season. And so if you spray now and you get in a really serious situation with tar spot later on during grain fill, and you spray, say, at VT, which has been more common, uh, you wouldn't be able to legally make a second application or a third application after that of some of these products. And so there's a lot of parts to this that we should consider. And as long as we spray tar spot before disease exceeds about 5% severity on the ear leaf, we're still able to get ahead of it. And I want people to understand that. And so please reach out to us in Nebraska Extension, and also there's a lot of resources. If you have questions, go online to the Crop Protection Network. There's fungicide efficacy data there. In fact, it's the same that's in our Guide for Weed Disease and Insect Management, the EC 130 from Nebraska Extension. It's free on the Crop Protection Network, so you can see the most up-to-date data we have from universities across the United States. And let us know if you have questions. Send samples to the UNL Plant and Pest Diagnostic Clinic for help. When you're looking for tar spot in the field, you're going to look for little black dots on the leaves. Now, don't be confused though. The most common black dots right now is insect frass. And so these black dots caused by the fungus that causes tar spot are usually on both the top and on the bottom side underneath as well as it pushes through. And they're raised a little bit above the surface and they cannot be washed off, where sometimes we can wash off the insect frass. And so, again, if you need help, be sure and submit samples to the UNL Plant and Pest Diagnostic Clinic.
It is important to monitor disease severity and changes, especially during grain fill stages, as well as sending samples to the University of Nebraska Plant and Pest Diagnostic Center for tar spot testing. When scouting for early disease development, it is recommended to focus scouting efforts in the innermost pivot spans. Reporting for Market Journal, I'm Mike Straub.